What is up, everybody? It is Wick here. Got a great video for you today. One of my favorite things to do is hunt for stuff at garage sales. The hunt sometimes is more enjoyable than actually selling it and making money. So I thought I would put together a bounty list of some of the top things I'm looking for that have eluded me. Some of these items, some of the top things I'm looking for are just very out of reach, right? Obviously, I'm looking for things that are worth $10,000, $20,000. Things like the Ninja Turtles scratch figure I've talked about. Those things are going to be much more difficult to come across. So I tried to narrow it down to things that are more realistic you can find out in the wild that still have incredible value. I was even thinking about doing some sort of bounty contest where whoever could find this stuff, first would get a prize, but there's no way for me to prove, if someone out there actually finds this stuff. But still, I would love to get like a photo or Instagram message, YouTube comment, just let me know that you found this. I do these BOLO videos a lot on other topics, and people come back many times and leave a comment saying they found something after watching the video. So that is really cool. And this year has been crazy already. I've been knocking stuff off my bucket list. I'm finding things. Just the last video, the ceramic Christmas tree, was worth like $300. So that didn't make this video because I already found it. But if you do enjoy these types of videos, make sure to hit that like button for me. Let's jump into it. These are going to be like 10 of my probably top items. I'm probably forgetting some stuff, but in no particular order, right? I would love to find any of this stuff. But one of the things that I'm really wanting to find is one of these vintage pet monsters. Something I remember from my childhood that I never actually had. Just something I really want to find, right? And they've been going up in value quite a bit. So right now you can see some of them. This is the football one that sold for around $1,000. Of course, new, this stuff's going to sell really high, but if you find it with the handcuffs, you can get some pretty good prices at around $600-$700 in some cases in good condition. Here's one for $599, $449. I remember when I first started looking for these, they're only like $120. So very popular item. They keep going up in value. So let me know in the comments if you found this or any of the stuff I'm talking about in the video before. Some random Godzilla toy there. I don't know why. Also, I don't remember this. Did they remake these? That one says 2001. Still worth a decent amount of money. I'd be happy to find a 2001 pet monster for sure. So there's some things that are kind of pet monster like because of how popular Pet Monster is. They are collectible, and these sell for a lot more than Pet Monster. And I'll show you some other items comparable to the Pet Monster and some of the other things I'm talking about, just to show you some more stuff, pack the video with information. But here's another item, I guess thanks to how popular Pet Monsters are, some of these other collectible plushes. These are called Giggly Eyes. These are going to be a lot harder to find. They're more rare. You can see they got this crazy look in their eyes. Some of these are selling for, this one says $5,000, $3,000. Here's one for 23 bids, $2,063. So that's pretty good. $2,000. And then over the past 3 years, I was seeing some selling for over $1,000. So very good plush to keep an eye out for as well. Kind of like the Pet Monster. And then just one more real quick. I actually found one of these at Goodwill. I think it was last year, right? Mine was blue. I think I have it listed for like $375 right now. Here's a yellow one that sold for $300. So this is called Little Meathead. It's just a little plush, right? Nothing too big, but people use the keywords on these things, Pet Monster. They're not actually Pet Monster, but it's the style, it's the look. It's because they're associated with Pet Monster and they're rare is why this stuff has some value. Hoping to get $375 for mine. I don't think I'm going to sell it for much lower. I like it sitting on my shelf right now. Really cool find. I didn't even know they existed though, so I don't have any like attachment to it of being like, oh, this is a cool find. It is a cool find, but I just don't have any childhood attachment to it where I was looking for it. So another one of my bucket list items I've been looking for years because I like them are Mad Balls. I have not found one Mad Ball other than some knockoff Mad Balls, which some knockoff Mad Balls are much better than the actual Mad Balls. No toys, no Mad Balls. So I'm still looking for those official Mad Balls. Here's one right here, and this one's actually a knockoff. And I found 2 or 3 knockoff Mad Balls at a garage sale a few years ago for $1/4. And I think the best one I sold for like $50. But I want the real stuff, right? That's what I'm hunting for. This one, knockoff one, very rare. $1,200. Here's like 8 Mad Balls in package for $900. You got some of these Mad Fingers, Mad Balls shirt. which is $860. So they do have a lot of value. Here's some, oh, these are knockoff too, $660. A Madball bat. I've wanted to find one of those, just don't find them right. Another Madball shirt. Shirts are actually pretty good, it's looking like. Here's an actual Madballs, $430 from 1986. They're just these rubber balls with crazy looking faces, right? If you're not familiar with them. But they have a lot of good value. They even made some toys like this, Madball poppers. These are the ones I think you squeeze and their head gets real big or something, right? But we could scroll for a while and still see those in the hundreds. But very similar things. The Art Madballs are also selling for money, like these Ertl Blurp balls. Here's one that sold for $500, $260 for that one. $98, $80, $75, just these crazy looking things that were copying Madballs, right? Worth keeping an eye out for sure. Anything that looks, similar to Madballs. So I learned about this item a few years ago, and I think about it all the time when I go to garage sales. Anytime I see a pool float or a beach ball or something, I'm always making sure it's not one of these giant inflatable beach balls. These are the 48-inch ones, mostly vintage. I don't know if they make any newer ones that are that big. And you can see some crazy prices for new ones. $810 from the 70s, these beach balls. Here's one for $760 pre-owned. Just some of these Intex ones that you would see, at Kmart hanging on the shelf. 48 inches, $660. Absolute madness, right? Here's one, 1995, $580. Here's another 70s one, 48 inches. In the 400s. Here's a Bud Light one. It's probably more because of the advertising, but I mean, it's 66 inches, so people are going to want that as well. Even a Tweety one here is 36 inches, $385. Now, I don't know why people want these. I've heard it's for weird stuff. Stuff that I can't really mention on YouTube. But also, I think people just want these giant beach balls to, take to the beach, I guess. Here's a 72-inch, $355 used, a Nemo 300. You can see the prices are very consistent on these. So, and honestly, 48 inches, well, I guess 48 inches is pretty big. People are using keywords like panel, glossy, vinyl. Here's one of these, and I remember that beach ball from when I was younger too. This particular one, $265. So keep an eye out for them. And since we're talking about the inflatables, there's actually quite a few that have some value that are vintage. Here's just another one real quick for anyone who didn't catch the video I done, I don't know, 2 or 3 years ago at this point, maybe 4. Time goes by so quickly, but Whale Ride-On, $200 if you find one of these brand new. And I just found a vintage, kiddie pool from the 90s, and I sold it for $25 really quick. It's nothing special, right? But I got it for, I think, $1. So a lot of this is vintage pool inflatables, even the ones that aren't selling for over $100. Many of them are sought after and can be sold for profit. So the next thing I really want to find out in the wild is Neo Geo. Anything Neo Geo, a game, the console. I'm a video game collector. I like the old school stuff. I've always liked Neo Geo, but I've always had to emulate it because this stuff is expensive and very hard to come by. But some of the games can be in the thousands. Actually, many of the games are in the thousands. The games are very expensive. If you find a Neo Geo game, it's probably worth at least a few $100s. The systems are also pricey, over $1,000. So yeah, that's just something I would love to find, right? I found a TurboGrafx early on when I first started reselling. I think it's actually the second video on my channel I ever uploaded. Back before Flipping Junk was even Flipping Junk, I remember recording that. Flipping Junk was going to be a video game hunting channel only, but I wasn't finding enough video game stuff to really kickstart a YouTube channel just focused on that. Plus I was getting into reselling other stuff because I was looking for games and finding all this other valuable stuff. But it was a great TurboGrafx lot. Neo Geo is just something that's eluded me. Let me know in the comments, anyone out there who buys video games, into video games, have you ever found anything Neo Geo? Come on, you knew this was going to be in the list. I've been talking about it for years. This is the Saxaboom. I want to find one of these, mostly because years ago, in some of my footage, it was sitting on a Goodwill shelf and I didn't see it. Someone saw it, pointed it out. I looked it up and they were selling for about $200 in, and I thought, oh boy, I missed a good item. They've went up a lot since then. Still sought after. These are some sort of Kawasaki Saxaboom. They're like a toy saxophone. They make all these weird sounds. They got popular because Jack Black played it on, I think, a Tonight Show or something, right? Or maybe he used it in one of his songs. And you can see they're selling for around $700 now in good working condition. 600 $600. So if you find one of these, it's working, pick it up for sure, because they sell very quickly and for a lot of money. One day I will redeem myself and actually find one of these. This is not a real Saxaboom. Somebody's just using this as a keyword from China. So here is another item I've talked about on the channel. Ever since I learned about these, I wanted to find one and I just can't find one. And I think they should be fairly available, right? Because they're McDonald's ashtrays. These are in every McDonald's. They had multiples of these back, in the 80s before they removed smoking out of the restaurant. I remember these sitting around, all the tables in the smoking section. So there's a lot of McDonald's in the world. So you'd think that they would just be sitting around. Maybe McDonald's destroyed them. That's why they're more rare. But you can see $300 for just one of these vintage McDonald's ashtrays. So there's an old McDonald's that's closed down in the city. It's been abandoned for 20, maybe 30 years at this point. And I've had literal dreams of going through there and like digging in the cabinets and finding McDonald's ashtrays. But it's just one of those things that kind of become an obsession. I really want to find one. Want to take it off the bucket list, just like the ceramic Christmas tree. I know they're out there. You can see people are finding them and selling them on eBay, making good money on them. Even some of these non-amber ones, the clear ones here, are selling pretty well. So on my bucket list for sure. And there's another McDonald's item that's kind of on my bucket list, equal value. So I wanted to show that. And that's the McDonald's Big Mac all over print hat. This also got popular, I think because of social media. I think it was in a meme or something. Then people just started buying them. But $300, over $300 in some cases, in good condition for one of these McDonald's vintage Big Mac hats. So would love to find one of these as well. I challenge anyone out there to find it. Let me know if you find one. I would love to hear about it. So this one's kind of a recent obsession of mine. These Jurassic Park vintage figures. Now, I found lots of Jurassic Park vintage stuff over the years. I actually just found one a week or two ago that's worth like $80. But there's certain ones that are worth really good money, like these Chaos Effect versions that have the kind of the colorful paint on them. And I think these are very misleading because they just look like cheap toys a lot of the times. And I think people overlook them. Here's one, the Chaos Effect Tyrannosaurus Rex. This particular one, pre-owned, around $450. This one, JP29, is the one I found recently, but it wasn't Chaos Effect. It was the normal version. It's worth like $80. So I really want to find one of these Chaos Effect ones. I probably won't sell it. It'll probably go on the shelf, right? Some of this stuff I just want to find because of the challenge of finding it, not necessarily, to sell it for the financial value. But they have good value. As you can see, there's certain ones here, like this one is $275. There's another one, I think, this one here. It's got kind of some blue paint. Velociraptor, not worth as much, but still $100 for like the blue-green crazy looking one. Plus this figure that goes with it if you happen to find it. But there's some other ones don't sell for as much. They got more of a cartoony look. Also, you wouldn't think these are worth much. $64.99, $58. Just kind of a cool thing to keep an eye out for. Here's something that's been eluding me for over a decade now. I've been looking for a MiniDisc player. I think they're so novel and cool. And they also have great value. I've just never found one. And every year, it's like another year went by, I didn't find a MiniDisc player. Some of them can be, as you can see, over $1,000. Lots of Sony portable ones out there that also sell for good money, like this one, $620, $652. Here's one made by Denon. I didn't even know they made MiniDisc. Of course, MiniDisc did not survive. It was not popular and it was discontinued. Here's another Sony MiniDisc player, Walkman. Just want to find one. They are rare, but they're not so rare that, how many sales have I been to in the past decade? Thousands upon thousands. Rummage sales, Facebook Marketplace, auctions. I've just never found one. This is another strange item for me to obsess over. It's one of these Cutco knife blocks. It's the 32 slot knife block. It sells for $275, close to $300. I've found many Cutco knife blocks that I've sold anywhere between $25 and $50. Just sold one last week that I sold for $35. I paid 50 cents for at a rummage sale. So you can find these at rummage sales, garage sales, thrift stores. A lot of times they might be priced $1 or less, $5. Obviously, I'd prefer the knives be with it because I think that'd be a lot more money, right? But there's just something about finding a knife block and picking it up and selling it and making money. Very easy to photograph, list, and ship, and I always find them cheap. So really want to find, this 32 slot one. The bounty is high on this one. Want to get it off this bucket list. And I think I just had these recently in the video, so I apologize, but this is something that I desperately want to find, and it's these Jenko jeans. These are rare, but again, they're not so rare that they're not out there, that you're not going to come across them. Like, these were very popular in the 90s and people bought them up. There should be plenty out there. But here's some, they're selling for around $1,000, and this is something else that went up in price, right? And 900, 895, but many different ones. They're just these very baggy pants that people would wear in the 90s. Teenagers, I guess, mostly, if you are not familiar with them. But yeah, $600 for a lot of these pairs of jeans. I don't know if you found a pair of jeans, if they'd be worth any less than $200. I remember someone on my channel saying that they had, I think they recently threw out their son's old Jenko jeans. They had like 10 pair or something that they threw away, and then they watched the video and nearly killed them. Yeah, I mean, that's got to be painful, right? To throw away all this stuff and then realize how much it's worth. But maybe my videos will help prevent that from happening going forward. But yeah, you can see just very consistent prices on all the Jenko jeans. Now, Jenko jeans is Jenko jeans because they're popular for their jeans, but they made some other clothing like hoodies, and I've actually found some hoodies before. And I was just looking at some of these, and these have went up in value too. I have not even listed and sold mine. I think I got 5 hoodies for $1 or $2 a piece. And when I got them, they were like $75 to $100. Many of these, like, I'm almost sure I have this red one, one sold for $248. So I'm going to have to get those listed now. I think is the time to list them. They ended up in my clothing death pile, which a lot of clothing ends up there. I think I had this brown one too, $250. Probably got $1,000 worth of Jenko sweatshirts. So again, this Jenko stuff is out there. It can be found. The jeans, though, is the, what you really want to find. But yeah, the sweatshirts are pretty good. I'm seeing now. Let me know in the comments if you found any Jenko jeans or any of these hoodies. But there it is, everybody. Those are my top 10 items and some extras in there that I'm really trying to find. And I could probably do 10, 20, 100 more items like this that's on my bucket list. These are the ones I've just been thinking about this year and popped in my head first when I was thinking about making this video. So there's some of the bounties for you. Go out there and see if you can find any of this stuff. Let me know if you do. You're going to see some great videos coming up of some more stuff that I found. I found something the other day for a quarter that's worth almost $1,000. So that video is going to be coming up before too much longer. Make sure you're subscribed. You hit the like button. Really cool stuff. You can find me on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok, flipping_junk. And this has been Wick. Until next time.